All right, so we're gonna go live. Three, two, one, now. All right, hey, I timed that one perfect. That was probably the best one I've done yet. All right, welcome back to another great episode of Talking Tines here on Outdoors Obsessions. Today we have Chase Rohlfsen from Rubline Marketing, and we have one of our staffers, RJ. So Chase, for those that don't know you, man, whatnot, this guy is the guy with the cleanest Adidas. Everybody, this guy, his Adidas, I swear, are 30 years old, but they look like they're 10 minutes old. So Chase, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you do?
First of all, that's not quite true because little closet fact is that I own about 60 different pairs. So
Wow.
they rotate enough that they always look clean. That's what it is.
But there's still
I
there's
wear my
still
1 month old pair. I wear my 1 month old pair because it's raining out today. So if it's raining, then I wear a pair that's a little older, like a month old, instead of
right.
the brand new ones.
Still
You
brand
know,
new way. Incredible.
I've literally got two brand new pairs underneath my desk that I just had ordered in. So it's ridiculous.
Incredible, man.
You guys know about obsessions? Well, that's one of my obsessions.
Dude,
Is
I'm saying. That's awesome. That's awesome.
uh,
I don't know what I would do with
but
60
yeah,
pairs of shoes.
thanks for having me, guys. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what is so? I mean, I know Rubline. Rubline is the industry's leading marketing brand out there. But Chase, what is Rubline, and what do you guys do for the hunting industry, or anybody really?
Well, thank you for the compliment. We're a marketing and branding agency. We're not exclusive to the outdoor industry, although we do definitely specialize in the outdoor industry. I would say probably about 75% of our clients are made up of, they fall into the category of hunting, shooting, law enforcement, outdoors lifestyle, cooking, camping. That's really kind of our niche. We do work with companies in agriculture. We work with companies in engineering, a variety of different industries as well. But really, for the bulk, we're handling marketing and branding initiatives from concept all the way to building the assets, whether that's a commercial or something you see on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, to actually monitoring and figuring out if those ads are performing, um, building out catalogs, and then all the way down to really the end consumer experience, whether that be at the checkout counter, with a major retailer, and what does that box look like, what happens when they open it up, and they're reading through the instructions or their welcome card or their warranty registration, or they're checking out online, and whether that's an Amazon experience or a consumer direct, on the website experience, that's all stuff that Rubline does.
Man, that sounds like a pretty busy schedule, bud. Always moving.
I
So,
I have a great team.
that's awesome.
As we were talking earlier about social media, and it's of course I go on there and I look, but I've got an awesome social media team. They take care of not only Rubline social media, but 27, 28 other brands in the outdoor industry. That all comes out of Little Traer, Iowa. We've got a big social media team that works out of here, and they're responsible for a lot of what you see out there in the social and digital world, as well as when you open up a magazine and you're flipping through a Peterson's bow hunting or a deer and deer hunting, or you're streaming your favorite show and that commercial pops up. That's a lot of that is all done right here out of Traer.
That's amazing.
Cool.
That's and
So
those ads and whatnot, man. They they're not quick 10-minute ads. There's a lot of work that goes into that. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. We've got a great production team. The production team's upstairs. Our office is comprised. We're not huge. We're in about 6,000 square feet. 3,000 square foot down below is I would say your administration efforts, a lot of the programming and concept and creation type stuff, and then it goes upstairs. We've got a full production team. We've got a very large studio, so they can shoot both indoors and outdoors, depending on the client and the client's needs. So yeah, so we're all under one roof. It's pretty cool. Our production team gets to work directly with our social media team. Our social media teams directly working with our IT website guys and gals, and our creative digital or our ad creative team. And everybody works really in one big circle, which is pretty awesome.
It's amazing. And you said that
That's
your
epic.
your social media team is pushing like 27 to 29 different brands or different shows. Uh,
Yeah, well, technically, so I would say like total tail of the tape, we're working with about 33 to 35 clients in any given month, and that's grown quite a bit. COVID COVID definitely accelerated business. What had happened was a lot of manufacturers, they lost employees.
Hmm.
A lot of those employees might have been in marketing departments, and we never took any days off. We never had anybody that wanted a 14-day quarantine. We just didn't take any days off. We pushed right through it, and whichever side of the fence you're on with that whole deal, whether they think it's right or wrong, the bottom line is our clients knew that we were still answering our phones 7 days a week and making sure their stuff got done. So that kind of got around, and business grew quite a bit. So we always kind of joke that COVID was great for business because when
Right.
you take an agency that has that much dedication to their clients, our client list grew, and we work with some amazing brands. I mean, some of the top brands in the industry. So
Right.
feel very fortunate for that and what they do.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm in the gun and bow business, man, and COVID was it was really good for guns and bows. It really was.
Yes,
So
it got a lot of people back outdoors, and
yeah.
we saw the resurgence of new license sales and tag sales, and I'm always quick to remind everybody that doesn't include any new hunters.
No.
You think about it, when COVID hit, it wasn't like there was a plethora of people taking hunter safety. These weren't brand new people coming in. What that huge increase in tag sales was, that was your outdoors man or woman or even child that hadn't been out in several years. They got busy with life, they got busy with jobs, they got busy with activities, and when all of a sudden all those activities stopped, they went, "Hey, I used to really love hunting and fishing. I just have not had the time. Now I have the time." So they went out and they bought a tag when they haven't had a tag, or a license in many, many years because they haven't had
Right.
time to do it. So I think probably the most exciting thing for our industry, if you love to hunt and fish, is the fact that now we reminded a lot of people that haven't got to do it, for quite a while, how great it is to be outdoors, how great it is to experience what God gave us to go out and pursue. Now they're re-energized, and hopefully they're going to pass that down, and we're going to see another generation get excited about it and get energized about being outdoors.
Right. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's
RJ.
my assessment. Like I said, I don't have any science to back that up. It's a guess, but I do know I didn't see any big hunter safety classes being put on for brand new hunters.
Right.
So I have to imagine it
Yeah.
was folks just haven't bought a tag in a long time, and they went back out and got back outdoors.
Yep. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, I know a few people in that section.
Did they do that down there with you too, RJ?
Oh yeah, yeah. People's got in it big time now that that COVID hit. Everybody's getting in it now. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's
So
a lot of influence out there now. Like us and anybody else that's on the media platforms of anything and trying to do what they're doing. There's a lot of influence and a lot of really good knowledge and whatnot out there that somebody can easily learn and go out and actually. It took me 4 years to fill my first tag, and I was nose the grind trying to do what I could do. But there's a lot of knowledge out there now where somebody could has a very good potential of actually filling a tag within that first season that they go out. That
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of drift there, and you know, I think we'll see kind of where things go, but I also think that some of the emphasis on it's got to be so old, it's got to be so big, it's got to be blah blah blah. I
mm,
think that's starting to dwindle a little bit. It had
yeah,
its surge, and it's really kind of, I think, drove some people away, and they
yeah,
didn't like that. And you see groups like the hunting public is a great one. They're out there killing button bucks off buckets, with a
right,
Walmart bow, which that's one of my favorite YouTube things to watch. I don't know those guys, I've never met them, but I loved watching that episode because it proved that, one, anybody can do it on a
yep,
budget, and two, it celebrated the kill, which
right,
said, I mean, I think the most important thing is
Yeah.
go celebrate the kill.
right,
In the end, last night I made venison tacos, and I was sitting there frying it up, and I got a 3-year-old, and she was helping me kind of mash it in the cast iron, and I don't even know what year it came from. I mean, we kill a few a year, and
right,
it's like at that point when it's the most important to you, which is when I'm putting the seasoning in and I'm getting ready to make some awesome tacos.
yep,
I don't give a crap what the headgear look like,
dude.
Right.
I'm
you
saying,
know.
Yeah.
So all I know is that package was labeled deer 2021.
Right.
Yep.
That's one of them.
That's yeah, that was the best memory I needed. It was like, oh yeah, I shot this deer in 21. Awesome.
Right. Exactly. If you could tell me how old that deer was or how big he was whenever you ate it, I'd be pretty impressed.
Right.
You know, I mean,
That's
I have
exactly right.
I got deer meat in the freezer, and I appreciate it more whenever we're hitting, like you're talking about, hitting the skillet and whatnot. But I get a little bit more like fancy with my labeling just because if I'm looking for something like jerky style to make, if I'm going to make some ground jerky or something like that, that's the reason. So I have it like labeled like buck or doe. But and
Yeah.
if you look at it, when you're talking about a needing standpoint, when it comes down to your critters and your fish, if you look at it, young fish and young animals are the ones that are harvested because they have the better flavor of meat. So like anybody that shoots a small deer or catches a small fish, dude, I'm just as pumped for you as you are if it was a 180-inch deer or a 400-pound, deer or catfish, whatever. It's when you take that excitement away, and I feel like social media, you know, had a really tight knot on that. Whenever you take the excitement away and like, oh no, it's got to be this, and it's that dog, something's home. So,
Same issues over here.
oh man, when you take away the excitement of like, hey man, you succeeded, you did what you did, you dragged it, you shot it, you did what you were supposed to do, and you came out on top. When you take away that excitement, you are not helping the outdoor industry at all. Which, as conservationists, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to try to bring more people in and keep this sport alive and keep it going. And when you're sitting there and giving this dude crap for shooting whatever, you're not helping it. You are the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty comical when you start to see those back and forth. And I found it best. I keep my mouth shut and I
Right.
don't really deal with it. So somebody murdering a chihuahua, that is a fantastic comment. I don't know who that guy is, but like
That is
yeah,
that is
he
another
wins
one of our
comment.
staffers. That is Andrew. And
He wins the award for best comment. I love that. That's hilarious.
best comment of the day goes to Andrew Fulmer here. We're gonna pin that one.
Yes.
So,
Somebody's
yeah,
tuning in.
yeah,
Here's the Chihuahua.
yeah, exactly.
I
You
love
know,
it.
I have shot some. Oh, this is gonna sound ironic. I have shot some dogs, man. Some really small deer, and I didn't care. The best one that I did was a couple of years ago. I city hunt, so in order to get an urban buck tag the following season, you need to shoot 3 city does in that one season, and then you can shoot a buck the next season. So in doing so,
Mm-hmm.
anything that comes by that doesn't have buttons or antlers on it, you're fair game. And this one did, and I shot her, and I got her all tagged up, registered, and everything like that with the city and with the state. I brought her home, and I literally took the backstrap out. We are like, I want to say maybe an hour and a half after everything had happened. Best thing I ever did. I'm going to tell you, there is nothing better than throwing a fresh backstrap, marinated with a little butter, and put that thing on the smoker. Oh, it was delicious.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
delicious.
Yes. Last year. Yeah. Last year shot a pretty small one in Kentucky. I was climbing hills all week, and I was just so tired, and it was like coming down to the last bit. I'm like, I seen it. I was like, I
I
gotta
got
field tag.
I got fill tags, man. James Brandom says,
I think
when I look through the peep sight or scope or holding the harvest, the real question is, are you eating it or trying to put it on the wall? But
Exactly.
yeah, 100%. No, you nailed
absolutely.
it, Brandon. Or James. What is it? James Brandon.
Yep.
I think that's a fantastic comment because you really better ask yourself like why you're out there.
Right.
Right.
And I'm not against. Keep in mind, I mean, I'm not against trophy hunting by any means.
Oh
That's
no.
not the topic of this conversation. I mean, I think it's fantastic to kill trophy, and I've killed some that are trophies in my mind anyway.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I also think that it comes as an evolution, and that's because I've killed plenty of 2-year-olds and then it was plenty of 3-year-olds and it was plenty of 4-year-olds. So it's not like a mandate for me anyway. It's not a mandate. Me personally, I'm trying to kill a 5-year-old or better deer, right?
Right.
But that's my mandate. That is not something that needs to be this guy's mandate.
Right.
I'm sure not one to preach to him that he needs to go do that.
Right.
And I think that's the difference is You can have a hunter who that is their personal goal to kill 5 and 6 year old deer, but they have to also remember that's just their goal. That's the great thing about hunting is you
Right.
set your own personal goal. Um, I've got a neighbor that they're perfectly happy with killing 2 year old deer. They sent me a message. I was actually hunting in Oklahoma, and their farm border, and I'm pretty sure it was probably a 2 year old deer or whatever, and they've been hunting a while, but that's what
Right.
makes them happy. And they're like, "Hey, can you keep your eye out?" And it's like you don't crucify them for shooting a 2 year old deer. It's like, "Hey,
Absolutely.
absolutely, keep my eye out. If I find the deer, I'll give you a call."
Right.
That's their deal. That's their goal is to kill a deer. So let it be.
Right.
Yeah.
So I leave it to the DNR. I leave it to the Game and Fish. They're going to tell you how many deer you can kill.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right. They're
and
gonna tell you
if
what's
they're
legal.
going to tell you how many deer,
Right.
I'm not a smart enough hunter or biologist or any of that to tell somebody what age they should go kill a deer. Look, it's
Right.
hunting. It's hunting. Go have a good time.
Go do it. Like
Yeah.
real quick, Andrew says that tenderloin is always the best first cut, Joe. Field to pan, no freezer needed on that guy. Dang straight.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I.
Although I will say, hold on, I will say, I've earned enough merit badges, and I will say that yes, you're partially right, Andrew. Only disagreement I would say is there's nothing better than taking that and putting a little marinade, some dry rub, so I don't go right from backstrap into the pan. I do love me like maybe a little Worcestershire, some teriyaki in there,
Oh, you
some
are
nice little
talking of
steak dry.
you are talking to the man
Yeah,
of culinaries there, my man.
yeah.
He's licking his chops right now,
Cooking is a
going,
little bit of an obsession of mine,
"Oh yeah,
so
dude."
I do love it, and I think
What?
that's why I like killing game so much. I love
Absolutely.
shooting game.
And while we're on that topic, man, what do you think? What do you think is the fastest that you have taken something that you either shot or caught, fastest from living to eating? What do you think, give or take? My
Turkey camp for sure.
nice.
Turkey camp. I mean, look, it's turkeys, right? Like, fill the tag, rip the breast off. Like, I'm done keeping beers and
Yep.
fans and all that. I'm past that. My main objective is to have a cool hunt and rip that breast out as fast as I can and put it on either the smoker. A lot of times we'll smoke them. One of my favorites is to take and chunk them up, and then I will take and my little secret is so I take the turkey and then I'll chunk it up. I'll take a piece of bacon. I'll smear cream cheese on the bacon. I'll put that chunk of turkey. I'll put a piece of jalapeno, like a jalapeno slice. I'll wrap it up and throw those on the smoker. And oh man, we're literally eating a few hours after that
Oh,
turkey's
nice,
dead, and it's awesome.
dude.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. What about you,
Yeah, that
RJ?
sounds
You mix
good.
that, you mix that with a
I,
cold beer.
Oh, dude, all
oh
day.
yeah, yeah. I'm turkey. I'm definitely turkey. Or I'll get the inner loins out of the deer. I get it home, field dress it, skin it up, and the first thing's getting out of that is the inner loins and that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Love them inner loins.
Andrew says, hanging tender. He's never been that patient.
I hear you. No, I get it. We did. We were down in Texas, and my son had killed an axis deer. There's a few others. We were doing a riders hunt. We were taking a bunch of outdoor riders. By the way, for anybody that's watching, I'll tell you, if you think venison is good, don't dare try axis deer because
Really?
I mean
Really.
axis deer. Oh yeah, it's the wagyu of the game world. I
No
mean it
way.
is
I'm gonna have to try that up.
unbelievable meat. Yeah, and there's several places in Texas that they're fair chase. Um, so we did that, and it was good. But then when you take it and you put a little prep time into it, a little bit of actual real what I would just say like a little culinary experience to it, and man, that stuff would sell for $100 a pound if you put it in a restaurant.
Right.
It's
Oh
just
yeah.
so
Wow.
good.
One day
Y'all making me
one
hungry
day
now.
I'll get one. What was that, RJ?
I said y'all are making me hungry now.
I'll say since we're on the topic of game and food, I'll say this: the best meat I've ever had, and I don't know that it was necessarily because of the animal. I don't even know if it was a hunt. Here's what it was: I did 14 days in Alaska to hunt a very difficult species of caribou. They nickname it the Wolf Mountain caribou, but anyway, it's a barren ground caribou that does not not herd up, and it does not migrate. It lives on a mountain, similar to a mountain caribou.
Wow.
They're a very strange animal. You have to hunt them like elk, except they don't talk back. So it's a lot of hiking. It's a lot of spike camps. When you don't kill until day 12 of a 14-day hunt, and you have been rained on, you're tired, you're hungry, you're sick of MREs, all that nature stuff, you're ready to throw out the window because you want to die.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Best meat I ever had is killed on day 12, and that afternoon when we threw a backstrap into the frying pan, that was the greatest meal I've ever had in my entire life, because it was like getting out of. I've never been to prison, but I'm going to guess it's similar to about 10 years in prison. You got your first home cooking meal,
No kidding.
right? Because that's what it was. It was brutal.
Andrew says his fiance doesn't much care for that advice. Chase, going on an accident hunt sounds expensive.
It's not bad. I'm gonna say, Andrew, like probably most axis deer are probably under like 2,500, $3,000. Now, although that's not chump change by any means, but if you think about like what you spend, just pursuing whitetails, or those guys that have to go lease ground, or
Right.
even worse yet, buy ground. I mean, whitetail is not a cheap thing. We just don't think of it the same way because we nitpick at it right all year long. We're buying mineral in the spring, and we're buying trail cameras because we got to see what's out there, and then we got to get new arrows, and all those things add up. So, it's all relative. I think that one of my bigger expenditures is I went to Africa, and I took my daughter, and she and I want to say we killed somewhere around. I'd have to add them all up, but I think we killed like 8 or 9 animals. Okay.
Wow.
And the whole hunt, it wasn't cheap, but the whole hunt, I think we spent like $12,000 on it. So at first it might be like, oh my gosh, $12,000. But we had saved for a long time. I had saved up like my frequent flyer miles, and but do the math on that. In the United States, if you want to go on a really great elk hunt, you're going to probably drop what, like $7,000, $8,000, by the time it's said and done, to do a good elk hunt.
Yeah.
If you DIY it, and you have a, let's say, success percentage of 8%, 10% with a bow,
Right.
so it's all relative. Now, I may not go back to Africa for 10, 15 years.
Right. Or at all.
At all, right? But at the cost per kill, it was something she really wanted to do, so we went, and
right.
So I would just say to each his own. I've done DIY trips for $3,000 in Colorado. By the time I added up gas and tags and everything, I probably did a DIY for around $3,000, and I came home with nothing because the shot percentages were super, super low. But I had a great time.
At 12,000 divided by 9, you're only at 1,300. And for those that want to get real specific, it's 1,300.33333. But that's still, that's relatively pretty inexpensive, and on top of that, the memory that you've created, absolutely priceless.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was like Alaska. I think I spent more in gear. I probably spent more in gear for my Alaska trip than I probably spent on the actual like physical hunt.
Sure.
Because I didn't have any of that stuff. Like I didn't have the right backpack that you can live out of. I didn't have the right, sub-zero sleeping bag that you've got to rely your life on.
Right.
I didn't have the water filtration systems and the GPS. Like I didn't own an InReach GPS. Like why would I need one of those? Well, when you're there, Alaska will kill you if you don't spend the money on gear. Right. So that was one of those bucket list hunts that I wanted to prove to myself I could do. Of course, like I said, I got 12 or 13. I was crying like a baby, but no, it worked out.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So evidently, whoever's hunting that Chihuahua did not do a very good job.
I'm about to though.
So yeah. Yeah, I'm planning a bear hunt this year. First time trying bear. We'll see how that goes.
Bear's a lot of fun. I did when my son turned 16. He wanted to kill a bear with his bow, and so we went up to northern Saskatchewan, and we both killed giant bears. His might have been slightly bigger than mine, but we don't like to talk about
that. Yeah, I'm going after a black bear in East Kentucky.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They get a lot. I think from what I've heard, they're a lot bigger there than what you're getting like up in Canada.
Really.
Yeah,
I thought it looked like they were a lot smaller, but
I don't know. I want to say there's some place that, yeah, I thought it was like North Carolina, Kentucky, like that area. They get really, really big bears.
yeah,
So
I'm excited.
I think we were killing like 300-400 pounders.
Wow.
Okay, heck yeah.
That is a
So
danger critter right there, man. You better kill that thing. I mean, no doubt I've always wanted to go on a bear hunt, and one day I will. I'll just buckle down and do it. But you want to talk about a danger critter, man? Chase or RJ, have any of you guys ever chased down a wild boar in the middle of a field and stabbed it with an 8-inch Bowie knife? Because let me tell you what,
no thank you.
No.
nothing puts more hair on your chest or a cape on your back by doing that. And I can tell you, we did it with dogs. We did it down in Oklahoma, down near the Texas border.
Yeah.
That was freaking amazing. I remember we watched. Well, there was 3 or 4 of us. We went down, and I watched a buddy of mine do it. My goal was I was either going to shoot it with my bow or I was going to shoot it with a gun. And after he stabbed one, after the dogs got it down and he took over and stabbed it, the guide looked at me and said, "All right, you're up. What do you want to do?" And I'm like, that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I can shoot anything all day long, but I'm gonna stab that thing. And his skull sits on my gun safe, man, and his cutters on both top and bottom are just it doesn't sound big, but and again, I don't care. But I stabbed a pig, a wild pig. This pig will f you up.
Pigs are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, pigs are a lot of fun. That's one of my favorite hunts to do is pig hunting, and it's dirt cheap to do it.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I love the meat. Like ground up boar sausage is one of my favorites. We season it with chorizo or things like that. And I just love it.
Right. Andrew says the camera adds a good size. Believe it or not, Joe versus 12 pretty even match fight
I
size.
think I've got, I've got the maybe that bear stole it. I've got that. Let me grab the bear that we killed.
Absolutely.
You're going RJ on a bear hunt. You said when are you leaving?
I'm going. It's September 27th,
Nice.
I think.
Yeah. So there's the skull off the bear that we killed.
Damn.
Wow, heck yeah,
And
sweet.
like I said, my son's, which is at his house, is even bigger. I mean,
Wow.
he killed quite a bit wider, skull, and yeah, they're neat. They're neat animals.
How big was that
Yeah.
bear?
It's been quite a few years now. It's been about 6 years. I want to say mine came in around like 385.
God.
Yeah.
So,
Good night.
And my son's, I think, just topped 400 pounds.
Wow.
In Kentucky?
I can tell you this. What's that?
In Kentucky?
No. This was northern Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay. I was saying because I mean,
Yeah.
dude, when you're thinking black bear in Canada, you got that Alberta skull, which is just freaking like built like a
Yeah.
like German rock.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
stud. RJ, if you kill a 400
I seen him
pound,
in Kentucky last year, and I had him right under my stand. I'm like, yeah, I gotta hunt one of these things, man.
Nice.
I was like, this is crazy.
have you ever had a bear climb up your tree?
No, it looked at me. It actually followed I guess it followed my tracks, and it kind of just looked up at me and noticed what I was, and he was out of there.
You was lunch, boy.
We've had. I took the arrow out of my quiver and poked the top of his head.
No shit.
Really?
It come right up the stand.
No way.
Younger. Yeah, younger.
Right.
Bears, they're curious.
Yeah, wants to check it out, and then dude, absolutely. I mean that's why, if I ever go bear hunting, I'm definitely packing more than a bow. there will be a handgun.
They say the worst, like the worst an animal's life can be is a 2-year-old bear
Wow.
because their mom kicks them out, hates them,
Right.
and all the dads want to eat them. And there ain't a lady, and there's not a lady in the woods that'll pay attention to them because they're not old enough yet. So it's like a 2-year-old bear has the worst life in the world.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
And they do. Like the 2-year-olds are the ones that'll come up the tree and like they'll be in the barrel eating if you're in a bait area or cruising around or whatever. And then when they hear another bear come in, like they're the first ones that are running up the tree. And if you're the closest tree, they're coming up to sit and stand with you.
Okay.
It's totally uncomfortable.
I guarantee it.
I bet. If I went up to my deer stand and there's a bear sitting in it, I'm probably gonna go find the blind.
Yeah, we had one of the guys that was with us, that was hunting with us. This bear started pulling on his bowstring, the string you got hanging down for pulling your bow up.
Right.
But he started and he was like jigging him like a fish, and it was kind of all fun and games. Like he was playing with it and videoing it with his phone, and the bear's like pulling on the bow rope and he's pulling back, and it was all fun and games until that bear started to figure out there was a ladder there and then started shaking the ladder stand that he was sitting in.
All of a sudden,
Yeah,
things just happened.
they're they're some of the most curious and interesting creatures like ever. They're
Andrew
just
says
curious animal.
I'd
A lot
have
of
to
fun to
learn how to
watch.
fly if one got that close.
Yeah, it's true, Andrew. It's true.
Man,
So
that
yeah,
would be absolutely
definitely.
crazy. Um, so unfortunately, we do have to cut today's episode right at 6, but we're nearing up on that. But Chase, when it comes down to whitetails, man, the cover art for this dude, that deer is a stud. So um, when it comes down to your
Hmm.
tactics, man, what is your probably number one go to? Like, let's say it's 4 in the morning and we got to go to a stand. What is your number one deciding factor that's going to help you get to said stand? Depending
Well,
on,
first of
we
all,
don't have any trail cameras, so just delete that out.
okay. So first of all, I don't kill a lot of deer in the morning because I don't hunt a lot of mornings.
Ah,
And there's a reason. I mean, I kind of like to joke that I like to sleep in and this and that, which is, there's a lot of truth to that. I do like to sleep in, and that goes back to I've got enough merit badges now.
right,
Like, I'm not here to prove anything to anybody but myself.
right,
But here's the bigger reason why I don't hunt a lot of mornings. The way my farm is set up, I am hunting a lot of crop field with not a ton of cover.
sure,
And so I have to be extremely conscious of the fact that if I'm trying to enter my stand because I don't have great entry exit points for morning sits, I have to make a conscious decision. Is it so important that I go sit out in the stand just for the point of sitting in the stand, or do I really want to try to kill a deer strategically? So I'll choose an afternoon sit because I can get in, let the deer funnel through. If I have a shot opportunity on the right deer that I want to shoot, great. If I don't, I can use that then now, we'll call it like purgatory between bedding and food.
yep,
It's kind of a no man's land, but I can then use that purgatory to quietly get out, and the deer keep feeding out in the field, and they're none the wiser. So I think entry and exit is a huge, huge overlooked strategy. And look, if the wind is wrong or you're going to blow deer out, hunt from your truck. And what I mean by that is don't literally hunt from your truck,
right,
but use a spotting scope, right? Like, get the spotting scope out, stand on top. I've done that a lot. I've stuck a tripod in the back of my truck bed. I've kind of leaned up against, like, use that as recon
hmm,
to figure out the movement strategies of your deer. Don't go sit in a stand just for the sake of sitting in the stand. If the wind is wrong, you're going to blow deer going in and out.
Yeah.
That's a big one. The deer that's on the cover. So that particular deer, I had passed the year before, made a judgment call. He was a big deer the year before, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just going to let him go one more year. There was a couple other big deer on the farm I was kind of looking to pull off, and I think I'd already killed like 2 or 3 does that year. Like, I had a pretty good early, and I can't remember exactly, but I thought I'm gonna pass him. So the following year, I didn't get out hardly at all. It's finally the end of November, tail end of the rut. It's like noon. I had to do conference calls all morning, and I finally get out at noon. It's blowing crazy wind. I see the deer cruising on a bean field, and I just bang the horns as hard as I can. I mean, I just cracked them together because I wanted to get over that wind noise.
right.
And that deer pinned right to my tree. I had him shot by 10 after 12. Like, I didn't have even all my gear hung up. I got in the
Nice.
stand at noon. I probably had an arrow in him at 12:10. I heard him crash. I got down at 12:15. I'm like holding him up, taking a selfie to send to my buddy who hunts the same farm. Um, he was super pumped for me because he knew that was the same deer I passed the year before. And probably by 12:30, because my truck was only like 100 yards away, by 12:30 I had him loaded up. I had a cooler of beer in the back, and I like was sending pictures to my buddies of drinking a beer over this 180-inch 10 point.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
So I'd love to tell you
Goals.
there's a whole bunch of strategy behind that particular deer, but it wasn't. The best, now it depends on if you're a bragger or not. But if you think about it, the best deer hunter, like you would think, there's so much luck that comes into their season that I would say deer hunting is 20% strategy and 80% you just had good fortune and good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still strategy behind it, no
There
doubt.
is.
But this is a wild animal that beats to its own drum,
Right.
and you still have to have a lot of luck on your side and, some
Right.
help from above. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, you can only count on.
Definitely.
No, sorry, RJ. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can only. Let's add it. I know I said take the trail camera out of the idea there, but let's add a trail camera, and you have this deer showing up every other day at 3 p.m. Well, now you're there at the other day, and it's like, dude, deer ain't here, and he ain't there for the rest of the year, or he just up and shows up. It. You said it best, man. It's a wild animal.
I can tell you a quick strategy on that one. We had a deer that we nicknamed 529. That was because on May 29th, it was the last trail camera picture we had of him. He just figured out how to avoid all the cameras. But I also spent a lot of time behind a spotting scope that year, and I also spent a lot of time hunting from afar where I could glass his field. And we figured out by youth season that the deer always moved on a southeast wind. Why?
Wow.
I couldn't answer. I'm not a biologist. But that deer would come in on a southeast wind, which is very rare for us. But I started to figure out, I think it was like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, oh my God, it's southeast again. There he is. And it could have been a northeast, it could have been a west. I still wouldn't have affected. I was able to see from afar.
Right.
I had him out my son during youth season. He had him probably at 10 yards, and he got busted drawing his bow. Like he was 10 yards, he was right there.
Oh no.
So my son gets busted drawing his bow on him. By the way, this is a 173-inch deer, so we're not talking a small.
You're not
deer.
talking small deer.
Like he was old enough to know better. So he busts out, and I'm thinking, I'm never going to see him again. Muzzleloader, early muzzleloader. I had my wife out behind the gun. We had him. We lost light before she could make a legal shot, so we had to pass.
Yeah.
But there it is again, southeast wind. The next southeast wind was literally like 7 or 8 days later. I went back to the same stand that my son had a opportunity at where he got busted drawn, and I killed him.
Nice.
That was a deer that I never saw on any other wind, but you just pattern him, and you're like, okay, he's gonna come into this clover plot on a southeast wind, so
Right.
I just have to only hunt him on a southeast wind.
That's a hell of a name there, 529, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he frustrated the heck out of us because we would see him in the summer through the glass, and I'm like, oh, I've got a camera in there. Nope, no pictures. Oh, I've got a camera over there. No pictures.
Wow.
And I've heard a few deer like that. There's something about cameras that they've got a sixth sense that they don't like, and they avoid them.
Yeah.
So now this, of course, this is back quite a few years ago, and camera technology's come a long ways with no glows and things like that. So this was all way before that stuff.
Right.
You had things like clicks and flashes and blah blah
Yep.
blah.
Yeah, I got one that cannot daylight. 2 years, he just will not daylight.
Yep.
Okay.
We had a 200-inch plus deer that wouldn't daylight the minute he shed his velvet. He was like a Kardashian with velvet on. He couldn't stop being in front of the camera.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, the minute his velvet shed, gone.
No kidding.
Wouldn't show up.
Dude, that's nuts.
So yeah, he went two plus. I mean, probably 220, 230, 240. I don't know. We never got to put our hands on him. He ended up dying, and we figured he was right around 9.5. 115, 120-inch deer killed him. They were locked up in a creek.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Gotta watch out
It
for
was
those little
pretty
guys, man. Those little guys, man. We expect
Yeah,
punch.
I know. I was like all those years of chasing him, and 115, 20-inch deer takes him down. Like,
Jeez.
it was brutal.
At least it wasn't the dickhead neighbor, man.
Yeah.
Like you died due to your own species. All right, that's respect. This little guy got you. Respect. The dickhead neighbor gets him. It's
Yeah.
like semi-respect.
Yeah. No,
That's crazy.
You can't pick your neighbors. You can't pick your neighbors. You can only hope they don't hunt on your fence line. That's all you can say.
Dude, that's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah.
James Brandom
pick your
says.
They don't hunt on your fence line.
That's right. James says that's why as hunters we have to play that 20% so strategically correct.
100%, James. Yeah. Because if you want to try to have luck, you can't determine luck. So you've got to play to that 20% the best you can.
Yep.
What about you, RJ? What's the biggest deer that you've killed actually in a strategic manner?
Oh, 150s.
It's a good deer.
and that
It's
took
a very good deal.
me 2 years to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a hard one. It was one just I couldn't pinpoint, and I had him on camera one night. So I was like, all right, I know where you're bedding. So that morning, I was up in the stand. I think I got there at 4 o'clock. I was in there early, and I just sat and wait. And he finally showed up probably 10 minutes after daylight hit legal shooting time, and
Wow.
I finally got a shot at him with shotgun.
Nice.
Nice. I had one years ago that
Yeah.
was, it was kind of one of those things like he would pass like, and I always knew it was like right in that sunrise kind of area because you would get like a black picture and then you got a color picture like just a minute before. And I was so convinced I was going to be able to get this deer. I literally showed up to the stand at 3 in the morning, and I sat
Oh
there.
wow.
I
Yeah.
sat there, and it was a late day.
Mid-
Like the sun didn't come up until like after 7. But I was, because every time I would go in for him, like he didn't show. But there he is on the camera the next day. I'm like, dude, what am I doing? All right, you know what? I can either a stay the night here, but it's a bit cold, and I don't want to wake up hanging. So I'm gonna go there as early as I can. So I just woke up at like 2:30, and I'm like, I'm going, and I went, and I sat
Right.
there, dude. You want to talk about cold? And the longest, like, you know what else sucked was like I knew that I snore. There's quite a few people that snore while they sleep. I knew I snored, so I couldn't even fall asleep. I couldn't get on my phone. I couldn't do anything but sit there and listen to the things that were going on. I had something come through the
RJ,
creek. It was a long,
RJ,
long
that is not
day,
a merit badge I'm gonna go earn.
dude.
no, no,
And
no,
to
sir.
top it all off, I still didn't see his ass or shoot him. Neighbor got him, but it was one of those things like I did
Way to build
everything.
such a disappointing like ending.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
We were
And
hoping
I
you'd
know
say
we
like,
were going
oh,
up
he was,
here. And,
he was 190 inch typical or something.
oh man, he was a great deer. I want to say he was probably about a 160-inch class, size 8. Yeah, crazy deer, crazy awesome. I had him
Yeah.
for 4 years, man, and I decided to put the punch on him, and show up at 3 in the morning.
I'll leave you this last one. It's kind of a funny deer hunting story that I've done a lot of podcasts and done a lot of stuff like this. I've never told this story. So here, here you get an exclusive, right? It's kind of a
Exclusive
funny
right here.
story. So I had this doe, and she was a big old burly, and I knew her because she had this scar on the side of her face, and so she was the one. She would walk around the woods, just always looking up, blowing, clearing the field, like she was that doe. Big old saggy belly, and
Oh man.
big mature doe. So that year, I had blown my knee out on a little motocross accident. I was way too old to be on one, and I thought I was 17, and I wasn't. Um, so I'm at the doctors. They're like, your ACL's gone, your MCL's gone. You need a surgery, blah blah blah. And I'm like, hey, can we do it after deer season? Like, just give me in a brace. Like,
Right.
I want to at least get through archery. Maybe we can do it during gun season. So he's like, very much against my recommendations, but here, put this huge brace on, and at least you can go, hunt from the ground.
Right.
Right. So I hobble up the tree stand, right? I got this big old brace on, and I've got my bow, and I'm ready. And lo and behold, here she comes. Like this mega doe that I have so many problems with. And wind was perfect, everything was right. And I see her, and she's kind of acting a little goofy. She gets to me, and she's limping. Her left front leg has got like this big tear in it, and she's limping. So she's not looking up, she's not blowing nothing. But I see it's her. I grab my bow and I pull back, and I'm like looking through my peat. And keep in mind, I'm up there with a busted up leg, and I'm watching her.
Right.
I let my float out. I didn't shoot her. I
No.
literally, I couldn't do it because she was in the same shape I was.
Right.
We were both out in the woods, just trying to get along and survive the day, right?
Right.
Right.
And so one of my neater deer stories is I folded and grew a conscience at that moment of full draw because there she was, this big mean bitch that always blew my stuff. It got her the same year in the same. Well, of course, I don't have four, but it was
Right.
my left leg. It was her front left that she was limping on, and I was just like, she gets a pass. I can't do it today. Like,
This
I'm
is
gonna let her
your
go.
day.
And
This is your day.
it was her day. I never saw her again. And I'm assuming, maybe she just had succumbed to something, and maybe I should have shot her. But for me at that moment, I was just like, nope, I'm not the guy to do it today.
Right.
So somebody else can do it, but she got a pass that day, and she was heading right towards this radish patch that we had, and
Sure.
that was the place she always hung out. I knew she gorged herself on probably radishes that afternoon, and I was
Right.
fine with it.
As you sit there, like, but tomorrow, you're mine.
Oh yeah, I kind of said that as she walked away. I was like, one day,
One day.
I have conscience for one day I didn't kill your ass.
But there's also that one day that she didn't bust you either. So I mean, it's kind of
Right.
like
That's right.
you won. I mean, she's always out there.
I felt it was we were connected
Yeah.
at that moment. I was just
There
like,
you
you know
go.
what, so.
You get this
with
pass.
that, guys, I hate to cut you short. I have a dinner date. I told you I had a 3-year-old. Well, now I've got a dinner date with my college age daughter, one that had gone to Africa with us. But yep, we're heading up to the university and going to go see her and have dinner with her.
Hey, that's
All right.
awesome, man. And safe travels and whatnot, and enjoy your day and whatnot. And we'll have you back on the show in no time, no doubt. So,
guys, I appreciate you having me on so much.
absolutely, thank you
All
for
right.
coming, my man. Appreciate you.
Take care, guys.
See ya.